Good morning, everyone. So, this is Cards and Coffee with Colleen and Kathy. This is a monthly event that Kathy and I have been doing for quite some time. I don't even know how long it's been, but it's been quite some time. And what we do is we get together once a month and we talk a little bit about the energies on a collective level that are happening and going on. And then we choose randomly a few people from the Zoom studio audience for a mini reading. Now, we do keep this to 1 hour. And so, of course, not everybody's going to get chosen for a reading. Keep in mind, though, that what we talk about in the beginning, as far as what's going on in the collective, and even when we do personal readings, that some of the messages may, in fact, definitely resonate for you and help you along the way on your soul journey and path. So, just a brief introduction about me, and then I'll let Kathy introduce herself in case you don't know who we are. My name is Colleen Lemma. I am an intuitive reader, a healer, and a teacher. And I utilize the Akashic Records as well as astrology, name vibration, the clairs, tarot, and divination cards. I'm a certified hypnotherapist. I do past life regression and higher soul self communication and healing, crystal healing, Ho'oponopono, and teach a variety of lectures, workshops, classes, do guided meditations on just a wide variety of spiritual and metaphysical subject matter. So you can find me at ColleenLemma.com. That's my website. You can find me on YouTube at Colleen Lemma. You can contact me at Colleen at Sacred Soul Empowerment and .com. Kathy, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hello, good morning. My name is Kathi Munson. I am a psychic medium and Reiki Master teacher, multidimensional healer. Oh my gosh, I listen to Colleen's itinerary and I'm like, check, 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 check.
Yes, we do.
Like,
It's a lot of similar
yeah,
things.
a lot of similar things. I also do past lives. I also can connect with the Akashic Records. I am mentoring and teaching and doing workshops and classes as well. Tend to do them in person in my area, but I will be back on Zoom soon doing some classes and workshops on Zoom, so do look for that. Um you can find me. I'm like, where can they find me? You can find me literally here right now. Um you can find me at an no, not ready yet. Intuitivecat.com, cat spelled with a K like me.com, or intuitivecat at gmail.com. So yeah, I'm also on Facebook as the same. So if you need to find me, and certainly you can just reach out to Colleen or myself. We can certainly forward information between the two of us. So with that, I'm going
Absolutely.
to give it back to Colleen so we can get started. We got a lot to talk about.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot going on, you guys. Of course, you probably already know that. We had a full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac, last weekend. Next weekend, we have a new moon solar eclipse at the last degree of Virgo. So, we're right in the middle of eclipse season. And we do have eclipses a couple times a year, but I think these eclipses are especially profound as far as clearing and releasing, purging, letting go of old energy so that we can get ready to welcome in something new. And the reason being is that the year 2025, if we add those digits together, it's a nine, and that's the last of the single digit numbers. So in numerology, the number nine is a number of completion and endings and releasing and letting go. And then, of course, we're in September, the ninth month. So now we have nine and nine. So we've got this double aspect of completion and releasing and letting go. And then the eclipses, when we have a full moon or a new moon eclipse, it is about heightened and magnified endings and new beginnings. And since that lunar eclipse last week fell in the last sign of the zodiac, again, Pisces is a sign of completion of an astrological cycle of energy, and it does rule past lives. And within those past lives and past incarnations we've had, karmic lessons that we may have brought forward into this life. And we're going through this huge clearing right now. So your physical body, your emotional and mental body may have all been going through, especially in this last week or so, but even prior to the eclipse, you might have been feeling it. A lot of, I don't want to say upheaval, let's use the word realignment. We're going through a realignment right now. And so when things are becoming realigned in our energy bodies, We can feel that as it comes up and out, like old emotions. All of a sudden, why am I angry? Why am I frustrated? Or I'm bawling for, 2 hours. What's that all about? So it's this releasing process, mysterious pangs in your physical body, headaches or head colds, or I got some sacral chakra stuff that's going on with some discomfort. So, depending on, again, what do you need to clear? Where is it located or lodged in your spiritual bodies, your physical body? That's where you're going to have stuff coming up and out to be released. Now, when we approach the solar eclipse next Sunday, so a week from today, I feel like we've had a few days of reprieve. Some of you may not agree with me, but after that eclipse and a couple days after that lunar eclipse last weekend, it kind of eased up just a little bit. But next week, I'm looking at the astrology, and I've already done the YouTube video for next week's collective reading. Things are going to get start to ramp up a little bit as we near that solar eclipse. So again, know that there's going to be like another wave of purging and clearing that's coming out. Now the solar eclipse, new moon, new beginnings, um, initiating something new, going in a new direction. It is in the sign of Virgo, and Virgo has to deal with service to others. It does have to deal with self-care and taking care of our physical bodies, but also, again, our emotional and mental bodies as well. It has to do with kind of reclaiming the fragmented aspects of ourself. You think of Virgo, and one of the keywords for Virgo is paying attention to the details, the little pieces. So if we take that kind of a step further or expand into that spiritually, we're talking about reclaiming these soul pieces, these fragmented aspects of ourselves that may have split off, may have hid with traumas or challenges from this or other lifetimes. So that Virgo is about coming back into wholeness. Now we're already whole, we're already perfect just the way we are. But because of the fragmented pieces, we're reclaiming those aspects, realigning them within ourselves, and then kind of emerging in a more whole state within ourselves, a more wholly perfected state, our natural state within ourselves. And Virgo to me is the priestess. We say Virgo the virgin, I say Virgo the priestess, and she's all about alchemy. So take your power back like the priestess, right? And alchemize the energies, realign the energy, allow the energies to be realigned through journaling or healing modalities or diet and exercise or self-reflection, whatever it is that is calling to you, so that that process takes place. I don't want to take up too much more time, but I will. I did, pull a couple cards here. They kept showing me light. Like a lot of the cards that I pulled had like light and the sun, and one of them even showed the solar plexus chakra, which is a golden yellow light. So this is about personal power, taking back our power, being confident, being courageous, and again, shining your light. What can we do during this time? We can shine our light. And also, what was the other thing they talked about? I can't seem to find it at the moment. But the other message that stood out to me was definitely about looking back, but not to dwell in the past. So we're looking back to reflect upon and learn what are these karmic lessons that are being cleared from us. What was it that I was supposed to learn? I don't want to repeat this lesson anymore. So let's look back long enough to have the awareness of what any of our challenges in this lifetime was all about. We don't necessarily have to know what previous incarnations, brought them about or what those situations were. But if you do know, then that's great. You can work more detailed on that. But they said it's time to move on. It's time to let go and move on. So it's about looking back and then moving forward. Okay, because we're going into that solar eclipse of new beginnings. So, we want to, and it doesn't mean we have to clear every last little thing in this next week and be like all anxious about, oh my gosh, I got to clear all this in this next week. The eclipse energies are going to last for weeks and maybe even months from the time that they happen. That's what eclipses do. It's not like a boom, it's done, it's over. So we want to like be patient with our own personal process and what we're going through to, release and let go and realign and rebirth ourselves during this time. So, not to take up too much more time, I'm going to let Kathi kind of do her collective reading and then we'll get into some personal readings.
So yeah, I mean, 100% agree with Colleen with a lot of what she had said. As you saw me hold up a card when she was talking about it's time to shine, because that was one of the big ones that I got also. Also, it's a time to take like she said, your personal power back, and knowing that because we have been in sort of this habit state, it takes time for us to work on releasing that, like continuing to work on releasing that, continuing to let things go. What I get over and over and over again, because I'm intuitive, I'm not an astrologist. That's the part that I do not connect with Colleen. I know a little, but not like Colleen. So yeah, because a lot of my information comes from the collective, comes from the conscious awareness of spirit, whoever you choose to believe in for that. Um and above. So there's a lot of walking through fear, like allowing ourselves not to be distracted by the smokescreen that's going on in our universe, that it is time for us to sort of take our power back and decide where do we want to be with growing forward? What would we like to see our reality to become down the road? It's even sort of like disregarding what's happening around us and just saying, where do I see myself enlightened in this process? Where do I want to continue to walk forward for myself? Do I want to get into all of this drama, chaos, the things that are going on, or do I want to just allow myself? It's funny. I keep hearing in my head, when I had children, somebody said to me, choose your battles. So that's a lot of like what I keep hearing over and over again is to choose your battles. Where do you want your energy to be? And it's not that we're meant to ignore and not pay attention. It's just allowing us to not get into the drama, to not get too far into it because we don't want to get caught up in it. If it comes the time for us to choose to fight, and I'll use quotes for that one, in whatever way that we see fit, then that's where you're going to be going. So again, it's not that we're meant to just cut it off and not feel anything. We're supposed to pay attention to our feelings so we can process through them, so we can continue to walk through them. And fear is the biggest thing we don't want to stay in. If we continue to be fearful, then the universe will continue to utilize us, will continue to suck us in, will continue to take advantage of who we are and the light that we're putting out there. This beautiful collective light that we have here today, all of you are part of that. You chose to be here. So it's time for you now to decide, where do you want to be? How do you want to evolve? And it's not like Colleen said, it's not all the answers are due today. It's not like everything has to come in right away and everything has to be fixed today. That's how we are as humans. We want that little magic wand to just go bing, yay, everything's done. We can move on. We're great. But clearly, we have to walk through our own process and to continue to release the past lives that we've had, the connectedness that we've had, the soul, our soul family. Who's our soul family? Who do we want to walk forward to? Who is enlightening you? Who can you connect with? It may be blood relatives that you connect with. It may not. It may be your soul family that you connect with more. But again, it's walking through that fear, continuing to grow and evolve, to release our past lives that we no longer want to carry forward, to continue to walk in that vibration and love. Love is the biggest emotion you need to carry forward now. Loving yourself, loving where you're going, loving the universe. And again, maybe it's the universe that's here as opposed to here, in the moment, or finding pieces that you can continue to love, because that's where we're growing, evolving, and going. And it's extremely important to continue to walk in love with yourself, get to know yourself, truly focus on you. And then you can heal everybody else. I know as a healer, we're always focusing on everybody else and we always put ourselves last on the list. This is where they're asking you to focus on you, figure out who you are, because you are the pebble in the pond. If you ever can see visually a pebble in a pond, a pebble drops and then all the emanations and vibrations that span out, that's what your energy is going to be. You don't have to be so hands-on out here. You can be hands-on here to help yourself to evolve and grow. And that's how you're going to be able to help the collective and those that are meant to come to you to work with. So continuing to enlighten that, and whatever you want to learn to help yourself to get there, there is so much help out here. I know a lot of us, like Colleen and myself, do a lot of work, and there's a lot out there for you to explore and connect with. But just remember that they're evolving also. So be very careful who you align with. If you're totally connected to them, absolutely. But again, just be careful because there's interesting energy out here for sure. A lot of the like Colleen, I get cards also that as you saw me hold up one, it's so funny. I love this. I just love this card. It came out and I'm like, yes, that's like the perfect. It's just celebration. Like we are in a celebrated time. We're a time to not forget. Like even though we're going through this and we're doing all this amazing work, it's time to feel good about yourself. It's time to continue to grow. It's time to find beauty. Like I live in Connecticut, because I'll just say that. And this is my favorite time of year because all the colors are changing. Everything is shifting. Like there's a metamorphosis going on out there. And it's such a beautiful time. That's what I focus on, connecting with the earth, connecting with the trees. And we have to remember that the earth is shifting and changing also. Like just as each individual person is shifting and changing, so is the earth. So we have to give her space. We have to give her time to grow and evolve. We have to align with her vibration. So if you're going to do anything, pull energy up from the earth through you throughout the day. Pull it up this way. A lot of times I tend to pull down energy this way and then pull it back up. Right now I'm focusing on pulling the earth up so that I can acclimate with the vibration that's happening right now. It will really, really help you a lot. So with that, I'm going to put a pin in it because you're probably going to hear me say more once I connect with whoever we're going to do readings for. So I'm going to hand it back to Colleen for now.
Okay, one last thing that they just won't let me not pass by is there was a message about leading with love, right? We are love. We are that unconditional love of the universe we are a part of. So right now, with all the chaos and whatnot that's going on, the upheaval that's happening, they want us to that previous message of shining our light, right? Shining our light in the biggest, brightest way possible and lead with that compassionate heart, lead with that unconditional love, right? Which means not getting into a judgment, not getting into frustration or anger. And so if we lead from love, I mean, it's kind of cliche. If we lead from love and light, then, we're gonna be able to affect a greater change, both for ourselves and for the collective. So with Kathy and I choosing, again, we just kind of go with spirit, and spirit leads us to, who stands out as far as picking to have a reading. Once we choose you, I'll be asking for your date of birth because I like to look at the vibration that you're currently in, as well as the vibration you come in with. And also, what was the other thing I was going to say? I don't remember. I don't remember. It just kind of flew away. So with that in mind, I'm just going to let Kathy go ahead. Oh, I'll ask you also if there's a particular focus, like if you have a particular thing you want us to look at, or if it's just what your angels and guides wish to tell you. Okay, so I usually let Kathy pick first. Kathy? Oh, and raise your hand if you want a reading, because we don't want to just pick on somebody that really doesn't want to be like, focused on. So raise your either icon hand or your real hand or whatever, and Kathy will use her
And
spiritual eyes.
you can also if we pick you, you can your hand's not up because clearly I already picked somebody. Oh never mind. She's got her hand up, so never mind.
Oh,
But
good.
but if we pick you and you do not want a reading, you certainly can say, I really just want to back away for today and listen. So
Right.
we there's no judgment. This is a judgment-free zone. So Leah Ann is who kind of just the name vibration connected with me. So if I don't know if you can show
Hello.
yourself.
Hi,
Show
Leah
yourself.
Ann. Do you
Hi, how are you?
did you want her to turn her camera on, Kathy? Is that what you were
If
saying?
she can. If she
Oh,
can,
okay.
that's great.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So is it Leah or Leah?
It's Leah.
Leah. Leah, can you give me your date of birth, hon?
It is November 29th, 1997.
And do you have a specific question or focus, or do you just want to see what your angels and guides have to say?
I'd say just see what my guides have to tell me.
Okay, great. Kathy?
So, Leah, the very first thing that I was getting when I was focusing on you before I chose you, I kept getting this feeling like two steps forward, three steps back, like almost like there's a place that you want to go to, there's a position that you want to evolve to, and I almost feel like there's something that sort of holds you back from going where you want to go. Um, I this pertains to work, but it also pertains to the essence of who you are and where you're evolving and going. It doesn't mean that you're not. I don't feel like you're like stuck, but it's almost like you have one foot stuck and the other one's like, no, come on, let's go. No, come on, come on, come on. I also feel like there's a change around like move. it's not just the fact that you may move into different types of work, because I feel like that's coming for you. And it's so funny because I just heard your energy go, yay, you know, so there's an involvement. And again, there's no judgment. It doesn't mean that what you're doing up until now is not you, but I definitely get that you're a healer and that you need to focus more on the types of healing that you want to do and that what you want to offer for people. Because and again, if you've been taking Colleen's classes, I would highly recommend, because I almost want to go in that route as far as astrology, numerology, um energy work, because I keep getting energy work for you. I also know that, and again, no judgment, but I also feel like you need energy work right now. Like your energy feels very depleted right in this moment in time. So I'm just going to say that, calling you out, so to speak. There's also something about you seeing the vision of who you are. And again, it's very funny how they keep showing me you like split in half, like you're split in half, almost like yin and yang, if you want to look at it that way. But it's almost like part of you is like, you can't do that. You're crazy. That's not going to work for you. It's like the little gremlins. I call them the gremlin voices that we have, the ego mind that we have. That's kind of saying, and the other part is like, we can do that. Like, just stop, knock it off. We can do that. We can do that. You know, it's almost like there's this like inner battle that I kind of see you jostling back and forth a little bit as to what you're doing. And there is also this sort of part of that alignment that wants to grow and evolve and do it all. Like, so there is that part of like, I want to take this and this and this. It's so funny. It reminds me of when I first came on the path. I'm like, oh, I want to learn that. Oh, that's interesting. Like I was like a kid in a candy store. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I want to do it all. I want to learn it all, which is why I have a vast array of things that I do. So I'll just say that. But again, it's like you have such a great past lives that you were an amazing healer. There's an alchemist piece to you that will also come back to you as far as like making like mixing herbs or just knowing what you can refer people to, because there's that knowledge for you also. You kind of vacillate a little bit. I don't think I again, if you want to make them you can, but I see you almost like doing a little bit of making and a lot of referring, if that makes sense at all. Just keep getting that, like your light needs to shine, like this is your time. And it's so funny, I almost feel like I want to stand behind you and just go, like fly, fly, little bird, fly. You can do this. You got this. You got this. You got this. And it's so funny because I will even show you one of the cards. I'm very visual, so visuals are very big for me. But I got this beautiful pecan card. I'll be right. Peacock card. And I always think peacocks for me are always about seeing, like seeing in many different directions. If you think when they fan themselves, I always see all those eyes on the end of their tails, on their tail feathers. And it makes me think like you need to open your vision more, almost like your vision's a little bit too here, and you need to just open it just a little bit more. It's there because you have these fleeting thoughts of like, I want to learn everything, but it's like, go, like, go. Even if it's just, financially, I know a lot of people are struggling. Financially, if even if it's like just going on YouTube and like watching videos of the things that you're interested in, pulling in information, and then you can have, more direct, like, okay, I really feel like I'm guided to this class. I need you to do this class first, that kind of thing. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, wow. I I so much appreciate that. That was so amazing. And when
Oh, thank you.
you said one thing that really stuck out to me was to figure out what kind of healing I want to do. And I recently picked up learning screenwriting. So I want to be a screenwriter for making films for a living. And that's how I want to heal people is through films that that speak to us and teach us lessons and heal us. So that really spoke to me and that really
It
encouraged
makes a
me.
lot of
Thank you
sense
so
because I
much.
saw you writing. So the writing piece, and again, I'm not saying that you won't do that, but I almost feel like that's going to come through what you physically do, because you're also the type of person that I want to have my hands on somebody. I want to put my hands on somebody. I want to be more connected than that. So it's almost like that's a lot of what I'm getting about you being able to do it all. So yeah, it's not that you're not going to touch their
Yeah,
heart, because you
yeah.
will, because that's what you're here for, for
Hmm.
sure. But it's so much more evolution for people that you have in your back pocket. That's the cool piece. It's kind of
Hmm.
neat. Sort of like, yeah, sort of like
Yeah,
if
you were,
if 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 I was going to become a therapist, I always say this because at one point I was going to become a therapist. It would not have been enough for me. because I would have been too restricted in how I wanted to help people,
Hmm.
if you can think of it that way. So yeah. Yeah. With that, I'm going to pass it to Colleen. Thank you so much. It was a blessing and an honor. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, Kathi.
Thank you. All right, Leah, here we go. So, I often, Kathy and I are on the same wavelength. I agree with a lot of what she says. Your soul comes in with this very expansive sort of light energy. And it's all, I mean, we know you're Sagittarius. That's expanded vision, expanded perception. And it's all about educating other people, speaking, teaching, writing, and expressing on a huge kind of worldwide scale. And so I feel like, this as a part of your energy, this particular birthday year that you're in until your birthday in late November has been kind of just perfectly aligned with the energy you come in with. It's been a huge kind of expansive energy. It's been about a lot of soul growth and evolution. It's been about a lot of learning. Now, that could be learning on a soul level. This could also be like Kathy was talking about, taking classes, reading up on new material. They definitely said there's something new coming in. And when I think about you being a Sagittarius, I feel these eclipses are hugely impacting you. You might not see the totality of what the impact is yet, but that lunar eclipse we had last week in Pisces is one of those signs that kind of pushes Sagittarius to make some changes. And then this new moon solar eclipse we have coming up next weekend, it's in Virgo, another sign that for Sagittarius, it kind of pushes you to make changes. So there's kind of like this forced necessary change that isn't always comfortable when we're in the midst of it. But I feel like they're really saying that something new is coming in. They were really showing kind of this reattunement that your body, mind, and energy field has been undergoing. They said you are very intuitive. You have a great kind of sense of creative vision, which is going to fit perfectly with you, with what you're going to be doing there. With, did you say script writing or something like that, right?
Yes,
Okay.
screenwriting.
Yeah, screenwriting. So they're saying that you have this visionary capacity, this prophetic sort of vision where like it comes in really quick and fast too, like little insights. So you should definitely like when the idea strikes you because it does come in quick and fast. And sometimes if you don't like write it down or make a note of it, it could potentially leave you after, a few minutes if you don't kind of hang on to that. So definitely kind of take notes of what's coming in. They also, your guides also said they want you to call upon them more, work with them more, ask them questions. They want to give you some input, but they're not going to intercede, because there's this thing about us human beings having free will. So they just can't come in and do things for us unless we say, hey, can you guys help me? Hey, will you give me an idea? Hey, I'm stuck right now. Will you help? And so your guides want you to communicate with them more. They said, as far as actions that you are now going to be taking as you move forward. So, in other words, there is this, I feel like this whole year has been, an in a way, yes, action oriented, but also in a way, surrender and trust and have faith. I feel like next birthday year, you're moving into like grounding some of the vision, grounding some of the ideas, bringing it into manifestation and form. But they're saying that when a Sagittarius energy, or like you have the flashes of insight, the imagination is on fire, it happens really quickly up here. But to bring it down here onto this earth plane, it, sometimes takes a little bit of patience and time, which Sagittarius isn't the greatest with. Sagittarius wants to be quick,
I
fast,
agree.
fire. So they're saying we need to learn how to like have patience, which takes us back to the message of connecting with your angels and guides more and saying, hey, you guys, I'm feeling a little stuck or held back or limited. Help me to move forward. Help me to take this action. Help this to unfold, more quickly. And you might get a message back in some way, shape, or form. It could be, a flash of insight, but it could also be like a communication or message in a song you hear, something you read in an article, a communication or conversation you overhear. They're saying you might get the message, just slow down, be patient. It's not time yet. We've got to like reconfigure things on a spiritual level before we can take that action. So just be aware of all of that. They did say something about friends and acquaintances or people in your life. And I'm trying to figure out the nicest way to say this. To 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 be around people that are authentic and trustworthy. So there, I don't know if there's, been any experiences or situations where someone has shown their true colors and you're like, oh, that's not who I thought they were, or whatnot. So, one thing is that everybody is going through a hugely transformative time right now. So just because somebody may speak out of alignment with who you thought they were doesn't mean that that's their true self. So, give them a little patience there. But also, if there seems to be like a repeating theme of energy here, really pay attention to your intuition because you need to surround yourself with people that are authentic and true and trustworthy, heartfelt, supportive, etc., etc. Um, they were talking about being in this prosperity and abundance sort of vibration. Now, Sagittarius is usually optimistic, glass half full thinking, and if they do get into a negative mode of thinking, it usually doesn't last long. So, because of that positive glass half full vibration, usually things manifest pretty quickly for a Sagittarius. They're kind of like the good luck sign of the zodiac, the abundant sign of the zodiac. And you have this, especially this year, this birthday year that you've been in, this prosperity vibration that you're living under, as long as you surrender and trust and have faith and don't push too hard. Now, when we go into the next birthday year, you might feel at times that your faith maybe is tested just a little bit, but they're saying that it's just, again, a sense of timing, universal timing that you have to like trust in and allow to unfold when the time is right, when things have been realigned properly on the spiritual level. You're going to be going through in your next birthday year a huge kind of internal transformation, this huge kind of death and rebirth energy, and that realignment energy that we talked about earlier. And then one other thing that they talked about that's a little more specific is about releasing some sort of pattern or challenge, difficulty or belief system that comes from the home and family that you grew up in. And maybe not just your biological, like parents or siblings and the immediate family. This feels like it goes back like some generations, some sort of pattern, some sort of ancestral belief system. I'm not sure what exactly it is, but they're saying you're releasing that. This is like this time period of the eclipses is helping you to release this. What do I want to say? I don't want to call it a block. I just want to call it like a little bit of a snag, a little bit of a challenging snag or something that sometimes comes into play. But they're saying that whatever that was in the family tree or the family line, that is being released. Okay. So, yeah, I think that's about it. I mean, a lot of other, cards here, but the similar messages about, expansion and really trusting your intuition and taking action. But as we go into that next birthday year, I feel like things need to slow down. You need to be a little bit more pragmatic, a little bit more thoughtful, a little bit more we'll just say thoughtful with your decisions and actions as you move forward. You're building a solid foundation next year. So with what you're doing with the screenwriting, like you're building that solid foundation so that by the time you get to your birthday year from 2026 to 2027, that's where I feel like everything just breaks loose and breaks free and things like start to move a lot faster. Okay. So that's it. I hope that helped.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Leah. Okay, so I guess it's my turn to choose. Um, so, oh goodness. Oh, I see some real hands going up. Okay, good. Um, Guadalupe, I'm gonna choose you. I think your hand just went up. And if you wanted to, yes, thank you. So if you want to give us your date of birth,
June 12th, 2003.
June 12, 2003. And do you have a specific question or something to be looked at, or do you just want to see what your angels and guides have to say?
I just want to see what they have to say.
Okay, great. All right, Kathi, you're up.
So it's interesting. You said 2003, and because I hear my guides put a lot of thoughts in my head, because we connect that way also. I hear that's the year the earth started changing, and that's why I smiled and nodded my head because that's when we started this whole trajectory. And when you came in, there was a specific reason why you came in 2003, because there's also this piece of you that is like the creative process, the imagination, the growing and shifting and changing and moving forward. Like it's a lot of helping people to reimagine themselves. Like that's some of what you're, because I'm not going to say it's a lot of what you're going to do, it's some of what you're going to be doing. But there's also that part of you going through this sort of change yourself, like needing to um taking a moment. It's so funny. I want to tell you to like take a moment and stop and smell the flowers. Like it feels like you're just like push, 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 push. Like, why can't I just do this? Why am I not getting this? Why am I not moving forward quick enough in the way that I want to? But the interesting thing is, you are right where you are meant to be. You are in that place to where you're cultivating, like, you need downtime in some ways for yourself. As far as like your technical work that you're doing, whatever job, physical job that you have, I feel like you give and give and give and give and give, and that you do a lot in that process. But there's time where you need to just kind of like sit, be still, and be quiet. Like take that reflective moment for you. There's a lot of your voice changing and shifting because I keep being drawn to your throat chakra, and I keep being drawn like your voice is changing, meaning like not your physical voice, but your holistic voice. I'll put it that way. Your holistic voice, the intuitive voice that's going to be coming for you. And it's interesting that we talked to for Leah, because I was like, what was her name? Um, that we talked to her, and she's going to be a screenwriter, because there's also writing that you will be doing as well. It's going to be your perspective, your thought process, your intuitive connection. You could even sit and channel like automatic writing. You could even do that. And so there's a lot, and in order to do that, there's a lot of like sitting and communing and just allowing things to channel through you, and sort of like not bypassing the thought process mind, to where like, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. That's crazy. I'm not saying that. It's almost like you just need to let it flow. Like you need to just let it grow and evolve and move. And it's funny because this card just keeps pulling me in, just the picture of it. See how the water is flowing and very visual and very peaceful and very calm. And that's a lot of where you need to go if you have a space like similar to that near you, or flowers or trees, or again, if water's your thing, go near water, because it'll just help you to sort of just have that peaceful distraction. Water is my thing. I love water. I'll take any bottle. I'll take a puddle. If it's raining, I'll take a puddle. If I can't get near water, a big body of water, I'll just go out there and dance in the puddle for me, because water is just such a connection for me. But I love the sound. I love the vibration. I love the feel of it, the smell of it. I love all that water has to bring. And so a lot of times I'll go to the ocean, and I'm not a type that will swim in the ocean, but I love just hearing it and allowing that energy to sort of just soar through me. And that's a lot of what I would recommend for you, is to sort of commune with your happy place and kind of be there. There's so many messages that are going to come to you. I feel like we have like such a magical bunch of people here today. So I'm just going to say that because I feel like there's so many messages that are going to be very similar for all of you. So even though we're giving messages to this specific person, you're receiving a postcard. Like you're receiving, if you're like, oh, that's me. Like I want to do that. You know what I mean? It's like that's the postcard. Like I feel like the collective is receiving messages today. A lot of very similar messages. But for you, Guadalupe, it's also having a like belief in yourself. Like I'm going to lean in. When I lean in, you better watch out. You are worthy to be and receive who you are. You are worthy. They chose you to carry this forward, and you wanted it. You agreed to it. It's not like they're like, we're just going to give this to you. No, you agreed to it because it's who you've always been. So your thought process, you have to have had those moments to where you're like, that was brilliant. I don't know who just gave that to me, but that was kind of amazing. What just came out of my mouth? I have that all the time. I always say to people, I'm like, oh, I'm writing that down. That was great. Because I know it's not me. It's not Kathi. it's coming from the collective. It's coming from them. It's coming from my guides, God, Mother, Father, God source. It's coming from the universe. It's coming from all of that interjected through me. And that's a lot of what you have. You have an amazing gift. Everybody does on here today. But your voice, yeah, you're going to be powerful, Missy. Just letting you know. So I hope that connected with you. I'm going to refer it. I'm going to give it to Colleen so that she can add to that.
Okay, Guadalupe. So, you are a Gemini. It's interesting that Leo was a Sagittarius, which was kind of like being highly affected by these eclipses. You being the opposite sign of Gemini, same kind of thing. These two eclipses are really kind of affecting you as far as a magnified energy of endings and new beginnings. And yes, there's endings and new beginnings for everybody, but there's certain signs of the zodiac that these eclipses are in that are connecting in certain ways with other signs. And Gemini is one of those where there's that, like, I want to say gentle push, but sometimes it's not so gentle of a push to make some changes, to release and let go what you no longer need. And your energy, well, they want me to go to the cycle of energy you're in first. So your birthday cycle, right? Your birthday was in June. So until next June, you're in this heightened cycle of energy of releasing and surrendering and healing and letting go of old patterns, old stories that no longer are in your highest and best interest to carry. Um, that's kind of what the collective is in, but you are personally in that kind of a cycle too. So this would be a time period, and again, it lasts until next June, where old circumstances and situations may fall away or shift. Relationships may fall away or shift. Certain patterns within yourself and how you might see or think or believe or act or operate might shift. So you're in a huge kind of transformational time right now, personally. And that means that by the time you get to your birthday next June, that following cycle, that's also going to emulate the collective cycle. The collective cycle starts in January, but it will for you start in June. And that's going to be a time of new beginnings. So you're in a huge time of, again, releasing, letting go of what's no longer aligned. So you can prepare for planting these new seeds or holding these new intentions of where you want to go and what you want to create in your life. And I feel like that's a hugely exciting time. Now, going back to again the energy you come in with, we already stated you're a Gemini, and Gemini is this mental sign of the zodiac. So, speaking, teaching, writing, and Kathi mentioned again writing for you. Very, similar thing as to Leah, maybe in a different way. But you're all about communication, and it's learning too. So, like a Gemini is very curious and always wanting to learn new things. Sometimes we say Geminis want to learn a little bit about a lot of things, but maybe not dive too deeply into any one thing unless they're really super interested in it. But this also means communication. This also means sharing those ideas, those beliefs, that information with other people. So, whether it's the modality of writing or speaking or blogging or, even creating, but it's like mental creation that is coming in for you. I think that that's, very heightened as far as your soul's energy. Now, your energy also comes in with some karmic lessons of freedom. So, this is, from past lifetimes where you felt held back, limited, restricted in some way, shape, or form. And so there's some karmic lessons of like freedom, liberation, you know, kind of not being tied down or held back for you, like a 9 to 5 desk job is not the thing. Like you don't want to be constricted or confined in any way. You need to be able to move your mind, move your body, and when it comes to like job or career, like even travel. And if it's not travel, between towns or states or countries, then it needs to be like movement and travel within like the company, say that you're working for. It's like multitasking, like your brain will get bored easily. So it's like you need to like do a lot of things sort of at once and kind of go from one thing to another, which to some people might seem scattered, but for you, it kind of keeps the mind active. So they're saying in this particular lifetime, it's about balance and moderation, not going to extremes with any activities or anything in your life, And to keep yourself balanced, because again, Gemini is what we call a mutable sign, which means changeable. So it's not very grounded. So we need to do what we can to stay balanced physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually so that we can have a greater effect within our job, our work, our relationships, et cetera, et cetera, and not get into like an anxiety or nervous state of energy. Now, um, I was shuffling a deck and a card fell out and I put it back in the deck. I'm like, well, that just fell out. Sometimes I pay attention when a card falls out, and other times I'm like, okay, put that back in the deck. I shuffled and then I pulled the same card. So we know that this is an important kind of message. This is Archangel Azrael, and it says transcendence. And at the bottom, it actually says you wouldn't be who you are without what you have overcome. Own your story. So some of us have certain stories in our life, right? Where it's like, oh, I wish I'd stopped doing that. I wish that would stop happening to me, or, whatever it is. And they're saying that you should really just own that story because it's been a source of transformation for you. It's been a source of death and rebirth energies for you. And that you are indeed transcending whatever the challenges around that is. Now, what's the time period of that? I'm going to say again, because you're in a clearing, purging, healing sort of birthday year. By the time we get to your next birthday, you'll have transcended something. You'll have moved up and beyond something. So know that you are, on that trajectory. Now, Archangel Azrael is an archangel that helps us with grieving, the grieving process, which relates to letting go. So there might be an aspect again of your life, a situation, a relationship. There might be an aspect of yourself that is being let go of, and it's no longer who you are, or it's no longer in your life, whatever it might be. And there's Archangel Azrael is coming in to help you to kind of grieve that, to be okay with saying, okay, this makes me sad. I'm not going to dwell in the sadness, but I have to feel the sadness so that I can move on, so that I can grieve this, have the grieving process and move on from that. They also mentioned that you're in a manifestation vortex, and I have to say for everybody here that that is the case because these eclipses, the lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse, it allows things to happen more quickly if when we focus our energies. So you want to make sure to focus your energies on the best possible outcome and solutions. And if you do go into a negative space, because Gemini is the twins and it kind of vacillates between, up and down and positive and not so positive. So if you find yourself or catch yourself in a negative space at any moment in time, to shift that right away. Because again, things are overall happening more and more quickly because of the eclipses. It's usually what we're focusing on during these eclipses. We can really kind of call it in, and you don't want to call in anything difficult or challenging. So being in this kind of manifestation vortex, really sit down and write out your thoughts. This is what I want to create. Speak out loud, as Gemini is that throat chakra of ear chakras of hearing the messages and throat chakra of speaking the messages. So use your writing, use your voice to kind of speak what your positive intentions are, because this time you could really, really manifest some things. And speaking of that, I think October, like once we're through this September time period, again, this is a collective message. October is kind of a new beginning energy. And for you personally too, Guadalupe, it happens to again coincide with your personal vibration as well as the collective. So we're moving into whatever the new thing is, we can move into that in October. They said believe in yourself, and they were showing me again the two sides of the twins, right? Gemini, the twins. And then they were talking about needing, at first they were talking about balancing the masculine side, because when we talk about the twins, we're talking about two different sides of ourselves, which we all have that masculine and feminine parts. But Gemini might be a little bit more pronounced because they vacillate back and forth, maybe within those two sides. And first, they were showing the balance of the divine masculine energy within you, which is take charge, action oriented, make something happen, be in your confidence and courage and truth. But then they brought in the divine feminine. So it's definitely both. We need to balance both the divine masculine and the divine feminine. The divine feminine would be learning how to trust and have faith and surrender and allow and go with the flow and just let things unfold naturally without pushing too hard. So it's this balance of knowing when to act and knowing when to step back and just allow. And so that was kind of the message for you regarding that. I love this card, so I'm going to show it. It's Oya and it says change, but look at the beautiful like colors here. And there's also a lightning bolt there next to Oya. So there's a lot of change coming in, but some of it might be sudden, unexpected, out of the blue, and maybe even for a moment or two seem a little challenging, seem a little shocking, because lightning bolt kind of shocks us sometime into like a new reality. But all in all, the changes are going to be wonderful and beautiful and flowing because of all those wonderful kind of colors there at the bottom with her dress. So I think there's a lot of definite good coming in for you. They also, one more thing, I think, they also said, free yourself from situations, activities, situations that you don't necessarily need to overgive your time or energy to. Like it's a time of simplification because Gemini is already prone to anxiety. And you start saying, have your calendar like booked solid, you start to get overwhelmed. Like, I can't possibly do all this. So they're saying free yourself from things that you don't really need to do. Take a little bit of a time out because Geminis like to stay busy, but this is really a time to take a time out to kind of do some self-care and be within yourself. So free yourself from anything, again, that would be like constraining and just, be more of in this bubble, I guess, so to speak, at least for the short term, at least for the next, I'd say 2 to 4 weeks. All right, so that's it. Oh boy, what time is it? Kathi, do we have time for one more?
If we're quick.
If we're quick, you go ahead and choose.
All right. So, I was drawn to, and I'm hoping I'm saying this right, Kalia or
Yeah,
Kalia.
I was drawn to her too. So good. Kalia, are we saying it right, Kalia?
It is Kalia, but that's
Kalia.
Kalia. All
I
right.
said Kalia or Kalia. It was a 50-50 shot.
Kalia, what is your date of birth, hon?
yes, it's April 23rd, 1981.
1981. And do you have a direct question or focus or just whatever your angels and guides have to say?
Pretty much. One thing I just wanted to add is I'm kind of on a healing journey and going through some difficult, I mean, it's all like you said in the planets. So I'm working with some difficult energy and anxiety. So I'm just hoping that my spirits are letting me know if I'm doing good at it, if I'm working through it okay. That's
Okay.
the only question I had.
All right. All right, Kathi, go ahead.
It's so funny. I'm just going to show you my picture, the picture that came up to me that I am like, this is so connected to her. Do you see this lion?
Yeah.
Like, you need to roar. You need to roar because you are doing amazing. And I got this beautiful balance about, because you also had an owl that came up for you. And again, a lot of times I don't read what's on the bottom. It's really about where my guides take me visually. Sometimes it's the phrase on. I love cards that don't have phrases on them. I'll be honest about that. But yeah, it's this sort of like inner knowingness, this like trusting yourself, trusting your voice, trusting your vision. Because owls to me are always about, and again, this is just my interpretation and how they come to me. It's about seeing so clearly in the darkness, like fine tuning your vision because you have the vision to be able to see where you want to go. And then having the strength, like the lion, to step forward and say, this is who I am. This is what I'm doing. And that's it. There's no, I'm sorry. There's no, I'm no longer going to mold myself into what I think you want me to be. It's time for you to take your power back. And that's a lot of what I feel like you're working on right now is taking your power back. And so sometimes we get a little anxious to say, am I doing this right? Because again, you've walked in this line of perfection, and I'm going to do the air quotes, which I know people just love so much, but you've walked into, I'm going to be perfect because I think that's what you want me to be. It's not even about that's what I want. It's what I think everybody wants me to be. I'm going to be what everybody wants me to be. And there's this part of knowing that your ancestral work, so your ancestors that are here for you, I'm just going to say this because I'm only laughing because I know this all too well in my own life, is that what you have been trying to fight against in your ancestral lineage is not yours. It's not yours. They're like, here's a gift for you. We're giving you this in your DNA. Here you go. Here's your present. And it's like, no, that's not mine. Like, I'm not carrying that forward for you any longer. Like, I literally see like baggage falling off of you as I even just said that to you. Like, it's just time to let it go and saying, you know what? I'm going to continue to work on this because I want to be a better person for me. Because your voice is going to get fine tuned, your vision is going to get fine tuned, and you are an amazing intuitive. I know you already know that. And I know that there's something about it around 7 or 8 years old that you shut it down when you connect with spirits because you were connecting with spirits and something scary happened around that age time for you that you're like, nope, not doing this. Nope, nope, nope. Y'all go away. And now I feel like they're coming back and you're like, no, like I'm not ready. And some of the anxiety that you feel is because of spirit coming and being around you. So yeah, make note of my information. I would so help you with that because I know what that's like. I did it in my own life. I've seen spirit since I was a kid. I didn't even remember when I came on this path that I was able to connect with spirit because I shut it down when I was 12 and was able to remember why I shut it down and what happened in the whole process. But yeah, definitely make note. I would be so happy to help you with that. If you feel that's an alignment for you, not trying to force that on you. Um, but there's also something about you being able to help others see the future because I keep hearing that specific phrase. Like there is this, I see you being a teacher and standing up and doing workshops. You are going to be amazed where your voice ends up going. You're just going to be so amazed. And I know that's scary for you because I felt that energy shift when I just said that. So I'm just going to giggle. But when you're standing up there being you and talking about you, because in essence, that's what you're going to be doing, there is no fear. There is no fear because you're talking from your perspective, what you learned, how you learned it, how it came to you. If you listen to Colleen and I, we're so different in what we do. We're very, very similar, but different because I learned things differently than she did. And my call's a little bit different than Colleen's. And so understanding that connection with that and understanding your connection because that's all it is. And I'm going to tell you one more thing and then I promise I'm going to pass this over. I'm going to tell you to your face, I give you permission to fail miserably. Now you no longer have to carry that because I gave you permission. And trust me, the best time we learn is when we fail. And I'm an Irish French woman. There is nobody more stubborn than you can find than me. So if I know that I failed at something, I'm like, oh, hell no. I'm going to just dig, 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 dig. And I'm going to push, 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 push until I learn it, until I get it. So I'm not saying you have to do that. And I don't recommend that. But however, so yeah, many blessings to you, my friend. Thank you so much. Truly, all of you who will let us read for you today. Truly a blessing and an honor, and a blessing and an honor for all of you to be here today. So I'm going to pass this to Colleen.
All right, Kalia. So some similarities between you and Guadalupe as far as the cycle of energy you're in. You're also in a big healing, clearing, letting go energy birthday cycle. So, this lasts until April, your birthday of next year. And then you go into again, just like Guadalupe, an energy of new beginnings. So this is a heightened time period for you. This whole like birthday year is like this huge clearing. And it's funny, not funny, but interesting, I guess. A couple things that Kathi said, definitely, as soon as she talked about something that happened, I don't remember, she said age 7, 8 or something about your ancestry or something. I then pulled the card that says the ancestral force. So definitely I'm agreeing with her. There's something, in your ancestry that needs to be released and let go, needs to be healed. And your ancestors, even though it's in your ancestry, your ancestors also helping you to clear that. So call upon them. Now, the other messages that I got, first of all, I want to say, I think you're on the cusp of Aries Taurus, but I think you're into the Taurus energy, right? You come in as a very like strong energy. I mean, Taurus is the bull and they're very stubborn and they're gonna like push through and get something done or push through and make something happen. And your energy vibration is very much about leadership and independence and take charge and again, like make that happen. So once we get to that next birthday year, it doesn't mean you can't make anything happen in this birthday year. But once we get to that next birthday year of new beginnings and setting new intentions and starting down a new path, you're going to be a force to be reckoned with. So right now, try to just surrender and allow and let go of situations, circumstances, relationships, mindsets, belief systems that are no longer needed for you during this time, and do some healing and self-care. This is big for everybody, right? This is a year of healing and self-care for everybody. But again, your vibrational energy, the year that you're in, is one of healing, clearing, and self-care. The other, as many cards as I pulled from all these other, decks for messages, two messages like kept repeating, the theme kept repeating over and over and over again. One was about love. And when they came in with this idea of love, I immediately got this hit of Venus, the planet Venus. And then I'm like, oh, wait, Venus rules Taurus. And then the next card I drew was Lady Venus. It was so interesting. So I want you to really focus on what is Venus's energy all about. Venus is one of two planets in astrology that rules the divine feminine. All those other planets, Mars and Jupiter and whatever, they're all masculine archetypes. Venus is a feminine archetype, as is the moon. So you being a Taurus ruled by Venus, there's this feminine archetype, this feminine activation within you that's happening. And it's all about this idea of love, embracing the love within yourself. Taurus also rules self-worth, self-love, self-compassion, right? So they want you to really focus on that heart chakra, which to me, Venus being the planet of love, ruling the heart chakra, the area of where we can emanate that love, but also feel that love for ourselves. So I think there's a big kind of push there. And I also got about inner child healing, which would go along with that. So healing the feminine aspect, healing the inner child aspect from whatever it was that occurred that might have challenged that inner child, that allowed, or I shouldn't say allowed, that made that inner child fearful or afraid of standing in her truth and being who she is and loving herself. And they show, like really holding your own inner child. And again, giving your inner child the nurturing and love that you would give a child of your own or an animal or pet, or something like that. So whatever love you would give to another, give it to yourself and heal that inner child. And the other big message was about joy. So I don't know, like, do you need more joy in your life? Do you need to do things that are more joyous and fun and being around people that bring you, uplift you and bring you joy? They said, be in the energy of joy. Let that energy of joy, let it flow from you, let it emanate from you, let it flow to you. Call in that joy. So we've got those two messages of love and joy that are happening, optimism. And then one last thing, they said you're in a huge portal, as again, we all are with these eclipses. I don't know where it's actually affecting you in your astrological chart. It's affecting a particular area of your life as it is for everybody. But this portal is bringing like great downloads and activations and a mind awakening and more understanding and revelations and things like that about your life, about yourself, about situations, or even relationships. So that is what I got for you, my dear. I hope it was helpful.
Yes, that very powerful. I really that that's exactly what I need to hear. And it just blew my mind when you said like 8 years old. That was actually the age I was when my father passed away. And that energy's been living with me all these years. So um, I appreciate the insight you guys had on that. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You are so welcome. And thank you, just like Kathi said, thank you everybody for tuning in and hanging with us. Kathi, do you know off the top of your head when the next Cards and Coffee?
October 12th.
October 12th, Sunday,
And
October
we have
12th,
two
same
things
time.
happening that day.
Do we?
We're doing cards and coffee in the morning, and then our new connection, because we don't know what to call it yet, is going to be that nighttime.
Our
No,
new
that afternoon.
podcast style, we're going to call it a podcast style event
Yes.
that Kathi and I are going to start doing together. So yeah, watch for that. We'll be finding a good name for it, and we'll be hopefully seeing some of you at that event as well. So both of those events are on Sunday, October, did you say 12th?
Yep.
Okay.
October
So
12th.
thank you, everybody. We send you lots of love and light, lots of healing energy during this eclipse portal. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
If you
you.
want to watch it again, it'll be on my YouTube channel if later on today. Bye, everybody.
Bye.